Hey, welcome. Welcome. This is Mogul Talk One-on-One. I am your man, Kadon Sterling. We have such an interesting conversation today, man. We're going to talk about, matter of fact, today's name of the show is Rockefeller Talk One-on-One. Stick with me. I'll be right back. Welcome back to today's episode. Listen, first of all, I appreciate everybody being here. Second of all, hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. Okay? Hit all the damn buttons. We come here today to have a conversation for people that are investment-minded, financially curious, don't know all the steps to get into where they want to be, including myself, but definitely want to have a conversation with like-minded people who want to talk and explore about how do we get to where we want to be, and how do you make sure your bloodline gets there as well. That's basically what today's topic is about. Today is Rockefeller Talk. Okay? Not Mogul Talk One-on-One, but Rockefeller Talk One-on-One, because we're going to really discuss how they have made it. John D. Rockefeller has made it so that 100 years later, his family's name, his legacy, his mindset is still around financially and feeding his great-great-grandkids. But let's start by getting this cigar right. Let's start by that. All right, because the best conversation is a cigar conversation. And I know a lot of you know me from cars, golf, and cigars. So I'm a cigar guy. I like to have conversations over cigars, especially if we're talking financials. Let's take it back. Let's take it back past before John D. Rockefeller, okay? Senior. Who, by the way, is the epitome and true definition of USH, United States Hustler. Believe that, He was the co-founder of Standard Oil, which was probably the biggest oil company in the country in the late 1800s going into the 1900s. But before him, his father, William Rockefeller, was a con man, was a hustler. He used to go by the name of Dr. William Livingston. I don't know what he was doing using that alias, but he was definitely getting money, cheating people out of their bread, telling people he was a doctor, doing whatever he had to do. But he forwarded that hustler's trait to John D. Rockefeller Sr., who had the mindset back in the Gilded Ages to say, I know we got it. Oh, we got it. But how do I know my family's going to keep it after I'm gone? Henceforth, the trust system, the financial trust system, the Rockefeller trust system, which was set up first under the Standard Oil Company Trust. I'm having this conversation with y'all simply because this is something that a lot of us should consider. Now, before I even go into it, let me say something. Money, wealth, any of that without education is destined for poverty within 10 years. I don't care how much money you make. If you have no knowledge on how to not just keep it, but expand it, it's gone. Between taxes and bad financial habits, it's over. So let's get that out the way first. You need education. And also, this is not legal advice. This is just me sharing with y'all some of the things that I have learned and I'm trying to put into practice. Now let's get into this whole situation where It may not be for everybody, but it's just how they went for it. The waterfall system of making sure that making sure that money trickles down to the generation. The bottom line is they started a trust company. If you're gonna start a trust company, you need a grantor, you need a trustee, and you need a trust itself. The grantor is the person that's going to make the rules for the trust. The trustee is the person that's going to make sure that whatever the grantor says on is irrevocable, if I'm saying it right, because there's not recoupable, irrevocable, and revocable. An irrevocable trust is basically, once it's set in stone, it's set in stone. You can't really change it. Revocable trust gives you more leeway where you can go in and make some flexibility changes that's according to today's times. But when you have a grantor and they actually put it down in an irrevocable trust, basically stating real simple, once this money goes into this and this money is going to be distributed to A, B, C, D, E, F, G, they have to mandate them. They have to, not the option. They have to also do this with this money in order to get it. Now, how he did it was, he already had a lot of money from the oil company, from his oil business, but he also was smart enough to open up life insurance policies. And it was mandated. Every child born in the Rockefeller family had to have a life insurance policy put on them immediately when they was born. I'm going to show you a few things and we're going to get back to it. All right? Stay right there with me. Welcome back. Now, where I left off at, mandated. And also, every child born has to have a life insurance policy put on them. Now, the bottom line is, unfortunately, we're all going to pass away. So what you would do is, or what they did, they made sure that every child born had a life insurance put on them for a certain amount. Those death benefits went straight into the trust. Okay, into the trust. So it builds up the trust value. The trust now is controlled. Let me get more light here, y'all. The trust now is controlled by the trustee or the trustees, which have already been mandated how they are to distribute that money throughout the family. Which basically, once again, it goes back. How they made sure of it was this. Every time somebody dies, their death benefits go into the trust. We're going to put out money to everybody who's a benefit from the trust or what have you, so they know you're getting this, you're getting that, you're getting that. And then some people didn't get anything because they had to wait to a certain age, which allowed compound interest, which still stayed under the trust. Now, having the irrevocable trust is great because it protects you and your assets from taxes, from creditors. It was the smartest way to go about business, to say, we're not going to lose anything. We can only gain over time. This is a time situation. Over time, we can only gain more value. We're not losing a dollar. And it wasn't basically to put a number on a family member's life, but the bottom line was the trust controls the families, because the trust became its own banking system. Now, you also mandated within that trust, these funds can be used through the family as requested and approved by the trustee only if these funds are used to do certain things, to keep the family name going. Starting a business, pouring into charities, going into real estate. Any of those things that a family member wanted to do, they never had to go to a regular bank. There is no. You need $50,000, you need $150,000, you talk to the trustee. Okay? The trustee will make sure that you get that. But it's mandated that you have to pay that money back into the trust or through your life insurance when you pass. So if you have a life insurance worth $1 million, your sister has one worth $1 million, your cousin has one worth $1 million, every time somebody passed, $1 million is going back into the trust, which is controlled by the trustees, which is normally one person in the family and one person in the banking system or a lawyer who has the ability to read what's mandated from the grantor. Self-banking, family banking. We don't think about that as much as we should, but we all can do it. Now, I know a lot of people say, well, they started out as millionaires. Yes, they did. Absolutely. Yeah, they did. That doesn't mean that you don't start somewhere. Just because somebody else started out doing something, that don't mean that you can't start somewhere. As long as you have income coming in, you have the ability to create whatever you want. As long as you have income coming in. It's all about how you distribute the income. It's not even about the dollar amount. It's about what you do with the money that you have. And if you have a low income coming in and you have high expenses, then you have to make choices in your life so you can even yourself out and say, I might have to not live the way I'm living. I might have to change some things. I might have to downgrade my house. I might have to downgrade this, downgrade my car, because I need more money coming in than it's going out. But the money that's coming in, I'm going to make sure that it's handled correctly. While I'm living and while I'm not here, it's still going to be handled correctly. And that's basically a short conversation of how they was able to do it, and I would like to see more people doing that. Now, the only way this works, let's be honest, the only way this works, every generation has to be on board. Because they have to follow the same system. So you might not even know your great grandmother or your great grandfather. You may not even never met them. But you have to go by what they said in that first irrevocable trust, because it's already been written, whether they're alive or whether they're dead. This is how this money is going to be handled. And once you understand the system, you'll be like, oh, I understand the system. I understand when I was born, you put $500,000 life insurance on your child when they're first born. And you do it in a whole life where they're gaining interest over those years. That $500,000 life insurance policy now, 25 years from now, is not $500,000 no more. It's probably close to $700,000, $800,000, maybe a little less. But it's going to make $100,000 or $200,000 over 25, 30 years. By the time that person passes away, who knows what that life insurance policy, because of the compound interest, is actually worth. And then what you do is you put one of your children or all your children on it to make sure that they're taken care of. But they can't get all of it. You tell them, listen, you can get this, but until you hit this age, you can't get that. And the only way you're allowed to get that, you have to make sure that you have the same amount of life insurance policy on you, and the beneficiary of that is the trust. So if anything happens to you, we can pass that on to your kids, and they do the same, and they do the same, and they do the same. J.D. Rockefeller Sr. started this back in I forgot. But either way, it's 2025. The Rockefeller family name, the Rockefeller family to this day, is worth approximately $10.5 or $10.6 billion. And that's over like 150 family members that's still alive, or close to 200 or something like that. Okay, you break that money down, that's still a lot of money for individuals who did nothing physically to earn it. You know what I'm saying? They just inherit. This is how you build your trust fund babies. This is how you build generational wealth over time. Of course, it starts with somewhere, but you take your money, you put it into real estate, you put it into life insurance, and you watch that money grow over time. And then you set it up in a trust where no matter what, it will never, ever end, because everybody has to follow the same structure that you applied 60, 70 years before they was born. My name is Kadon A. Sterling. I thank y'all so much for listening. I thank y'all so much for being here. Like I said before, go to Etsy.com. Pick yourself up one of these. ownership and profits. If we ain't talking about that, what kind of conversation you really want me to have with you? How are we ever gonna really, what are we talking about? I don't do small talk. Let's talk about something that's gonna help us both grow, all right? Don't forget, cars, golf, and cigars right here on YouTube. Please go over there, hit the subscribe button, check the channel out. This channel right here, Mogul Talk 101. I'm proud of it, man. I really am. The Fearless Ambition Podcast, that channel as well, right here on YouTube. Hit all the subscribe buttons, hit the like button, tell somebody about it. Word of mouth, that's how you build a brand. I'll see you on the next one.